Hey everybody, Dr. Rob here, Facebook Live, ending the year really strong. Last weekend, great honor for me. I got to speak at 8-4M, the #1 anti-aging symposium of the year in Las Vegas. Great time, great crowd, a lot of medical doctors. Shared some really valuable information. Got some big thumbs up from people in the crowd. We talked about bacterial toxins' threat against neuroplasticity. Now remember, neuroplasticity, that does not mean that it's positive. Neuroplasticity can also be a negative term. You can have a concussion and start moving aberrantly and have negative neuroplasticity. We're talking about bacterial toxins' threat against damaging for quality neuroplasticity. This is without question the microbiome, gut to the brain. Neuroplasticity is the paradigm shift of 2017 and beyond. So I really want to go over this in a very epigrammatic manner. This was taken from a September 4th, 2017 article in Frontiers, and we condensed the graph. This was one of my slides there that really put it all together to enable everybody out there to take a look, because I know what's happening now is everybody's drinking a little bit, everybody's eating, you know, that drinking that alcohol is bad for your gut, everybody's having a few extra cookies and the sugar, maybe a wedge with the gluten and stuff like that, which we all need to watch. So let's pick it up. Here we go, the GI tract and the microbiome. Well, it's really the microbiota. The microbiome is the whole body. But the GI tract and the microbiome, as we say almost every week, 70%, a minimum of 70% of your immune cells are in your gut. Your gut, where your macro and micronutrients are absorbed. So do you have the guts to be healthy? What have you done for your gut health lately? Everything revolves around your gut and beyond. So here's the gut microbiota. Unfortunately, we get a lot of what we call gram-negative bacteria, which refers to the concept of E. coli, Shigella, Salmonella, and things of that nature. So E. coli is indicated here. It is a gram-negative bacteria. It is not a very positive bacteria. We like gram-positive bacteria. We don't like gram-negative bacteria. When we have too many gram-negative bacteria, we get something called dysbiosis, or one of the newer words are dysbacteriosis. We get an unleveling between the good and the bad bacteria, dysbiosis. We have adverse health when we have a dysbiosis. In addition, interestingly enough, it's not just the dysbiosis, it's the microbe, and the microbe and how it affects the host, and the interplay between the microbe and the host. So that's even a deeper thought layer, if you will. So let's go to this gram-negative bacteria. Releases a gram-negative bacteria, a great sign of LPS, or excuse me, a great sign of dysbiosis is the expression of LPS, lipopolysaccharide. It holds the gram-negative bacteria on the wall. I call it the ivy on the gut wall or the intestinal wall. When LPS is expressed, you have systemic inflammation. The biggest marker that I like to talk about is I test with the Cyrax labs, array number 2, and we'll review that again at the end, is not only LPS, lipopolysaccharide, leading to systemic inflammation throughout the body, but the antibodies that come with LPS, because those antibodies imply that you have autoimmunity, your body's attacking itself, and that's arthritis. That's a damage to the joint, that's damage to the brain, the thyroid, obesity, diabetes, and the like. So let's take a look at this. These gram-negative bacteria, as we refer to E. coli, releasing LPS. There we have it. In addition, LPS is called an endotoxin. It's coming from the inside. We also have some exotoxins outside the intestinal tract, and we call those exotoxins. So gram-negative bacteria is both endo, inside, and outside, called exo. They make amyloids. Amyloids, you've heard this word before. Amyloids refer to the idea of protein and protein clotting and plaquing. And finally, we have S and C RNA. So we have small non-coding RNA. That small non-coding RNA from that dysbiosis, from that gram-negative bacteria, means we're not getting specific types of protein synthesis and specific type of gene expression. Almost looks like a single nucleotide polymorphism, if you will. So here we're having this just outside the gut level, and then this all leads to what we call systemic inflammation. So when your gut is permeable, this is a big takeaway for patients, doctors, and the like. When your gut is permeable, it's systemic. It goes throughout your whole body, down your legs, down your arms, into your trunk, and into your head. So when we speak to the systemic inflammation, it damages and can cross the blood-brain barrier and get into the brain. When it gets into the brain, you can have inflammatory or neural autoimmunity or neural degeneration at the brain level. In addition, you also have central nervous system inflammation. So let's go through this. You have a bacteria in your gut. It damages your gut lining. It expressed through the gut lining and goes systemically through the body, causing a lot of damage. It ultimately goes up to the brain. When it gets to the brain, it can damage and get through the brain by damaging the blood-brain barrier, gets to the brain, and in the brain, it damages the brain, but it also gets into what we call the cerebral spinal fluid, which adversely affects your central nervous system. So your gut here affects everything out here, damages your brain, damages your central nervous system, and finally causes central nervous system amyloid plaquing, and that's called Alzheimer's. So they have a direct correlation due to this article in an increased expression of LPS and LPS antibodies and Alzheimer's. And for all my functional medicine docs, that's because LPS adversely or upregulates toll receptors 2 and 4. And toll receptors 2 and 4 are your innate immune system. And that innate immune system releases cytokines and chemokines and stimulating an FKB to be a signal transducer of inflammation. So, that was a lot of fun. I'm trying to keep it nice and tight. Bottom line is, once again, your gut's too permeable, damages your body, goes directly to your brain, higher incidence of neural autoimmunity, higher incidence of Alzheimer's. We now know that. By the way, as an FYI, if you want to decrease your incidence of Alzheimer's, please decrease your sugar. The keto diet is a great choice, 50 grams or less. Dan, I know we have some questions.
Yes, 2 questions came in so far. The first one is a multi-part question. Dr. Silverman, it is there a test one can take for what you've talked about in this video? What's the test called? Where can they go to get that test?
Great. So the test that I like in the laboratory that I recommend for this type is called Cyrex Labs. So you got to find a doctor who understands them. They are the leading edge laboratory by far. Their lead science advisor is Dr. Aristo Wijajani, Dr. V. He is without question the godfather of functional medicine, and we spent a lot of time over the weekend together, and it was a great honor to do an interview with him and things like that. With that being said, Cyrex Labs, Array 2 is a great choice. Array 2 is a choice because it will tell us LPS, LPS antigens. It'll also talk about tight junction damage and also let us know if you also have autoimmunity at the gut level. Array 20 tells us about the blood-brain barrier and the blood-brain barrier structure, and it shouldn't be permeable, but it is. Array 22, which I should have explained a little bit more. So this E. coli can be called a cytolethal distending toxin. Big word, CDT. There's 3 different kinds of cytolethal distending toxins. There's a pathogenic one, which is CDT-B, bad, bacteria. It attaches to a CNA. They attach to the cell membrane. And that cell membrane, or epithelial cell membrane, it attaches, it gets into the cell, which is they call endocytosis. It then releases from the good bacteria, CNA, and B starts eating the intracellular structures, damages the tight junctions, damages the submucosal, so we call that para and transcellular. Joanne gave me the look like, come on, make it a little easier for everybody. Ultimately, it damages the cells and you get autoimmunity against yourself. And if you want to differentiate SIBO from IBS or diarrhea IBS, it's Array 22. SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. You guys have heard me talk about that before. And finally, if you want to test for neuroplasticity, it's Array 7. We're looking for GM1. When GM1 is elevated, it's a sign that we have motor neuropathies or motor issues, and that poses an issue. If it's decreased, it's a good deal. It talks about cerebellum, tubulin, synapsin, and the like. So, Cyrex Labs 2, 20, 22, and Array 7 pertaining to this graph.
Okay, doctor. Great. Another question that just came in is, where can a person connect with you to learn more about this?
Great. You guys want to learn? Obviously, the Facebook, we're doing a lot of leading edge things. We really appreciate. We're growing in followers. Do me a favor, and I know you're going to smile now, Dan. like, click, and share. We want at least 50 shares. Guys, share this with everybody. We try and keep it tight. Please like it, click it, share it, make a comment, tell me how you're feeling, ask a question. You can see by getting in touch with me, www.drrobertsilverman. We're going to post my schedule. You can always come see me. I work for a long list of different companies. We always talk about gut and brain and concussion. Got any more?
No.
No, we don't have any more. All right, so guys, feel free. Once again, like, click, and share. Remember, it's Christmas time. Inside Out Health, Revolutionary Approach to Your Body, my book. Everybody can do that. Remember, Feliz Navidad, Dr. Rob, always yours in health.